Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Row of Gilly coming here at you today with our final 3-star Horseman Unlock Guide. We're coming at you with the Rogue 3-star Unlock minimum requirements. This video is going to talk about teams, strategies, gear and ability levels, ISO levels, and basically what you could do to get this character unlocked with the minimum amount of investment. And also, kind of what teams you can take in that if you do choose to invest in them a bit more, they're going to go a bit more of the distance for you, not only in the Rogue Scourge, but other game modes like Raids, Cosmic Crucible, and things like that. So if you're ready, first make sure you subscribe and hit that like button so that we can keep this content coming at you and promote the channel. But that stuff aside, let's jump right into it. So as you'll see behind me, we're on MarvelStrikeForce.com, and we got our brief breakdown of our teams that we use to get through each of the nodes. Now, we're going to go through node by node closer to the end of the video so that you can have a visual of kind of where these teams are supposed to go and why they work where they work. But let's just kind of knock it out, jumping right in. The first team you're going to need is city characters. Now, you can use your Sinister Six that we're going to talk about later, or you could try to build a different city team. And I took the route of having 2 teams, but I don't really think you'll need to. And well, again, things we'll talk about closer to the end of the video. But for now, let's bust it down. City nodes. I used my Hive Mind characters with Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider. You'll notice that Carnage, Gwenum, and Robbie are all level 70, gear tier 13. Everyone, the other 2 are level 65, gear tier 12. They don't have all of their things maxed out. Most of them are abilities level 4, 5, 6, depending on which abilities, and it's not really needed to go much higher than that. The only thing I think I would change going back and doing this, I would pick somebody that's not Robbie, because I used Robbie in some of the later nodes for the more call-out things, right? Like the A-Force, Infestation, Young Avengers, Secret Defenders. We used Robbie in there, so I managed to switch him up. But honestly, we made it through okay with the Scourges that we used, and he was super beneficial, and that team mopped up those first couple nodes. Moving ahead, you need mutant characters, and honestly, the easiest, best bet to go with here is your Extreme X-Men team. Again, that team consists of, if you look in the top right there, Forge, Nightcrawler, Gambit, Sunspot, and Cyclops. And 65 gear 12 was pretty much the cost of admission. We took Nightcrawler up for a different Scourge to level 70. But again, don't know if you even need to do that. They did quick work on their 2 nodes as well. Coming to the third team you're going to need. Again, this is the crazy hybrid node where you can use A-Force, Inhuman, Young Avengers, Infestation, Secret Defenders, or New Warriors. And we used 2 different teams, one for node 5, one for node 10. For node 5, we used the team that you see there first. Squirrel Girl, Cloak Dagger, Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, and Ms. Marvel Hardlight. Again, Cloak, Hardlight, and Ghost Rider all level 70, gear tier 13. The other 2 level 65, gear tier 12. In the final node, we subbed in Deathpool and Photon for Cloak and Dagger because they got really beat up, but we were able to get everyone else to full health, come in with Photon and Deathpool, and really clean up. So those 7 characters, it's good to have a couple extras in your back pocket, just because there's so many you can use, but these are arguably the best of the best. Squirrel Girl is one of the best early game healers. Cloak, Dagger, and Deathpool are all part of the New Warriors, which is a fantastic Cosmic Crucible team, especially for mid-game players. And, their longevity when it comes to Cosmic Crucible bonuses tends to last. Deathpool and Photon, on their little side thing there. Deathpool is, part of your New Warriors. Photon, Robbie Reyes, and Ms. Marvel Hardlight are part of your Secret Defenders, which is a stellar arena team that you're going to have to build if you're, currently pushing towards the end of the arena in 2024. You're going to need a lot of those characters. So this kind of mishmash, these 7 give you a lot of value. They're valuable in Cosmic Crucible, they're valuable in War, they're valuable in Arena. So these are kind of the best 7 no-brainer, like these characters can go to the moon if you want to, and you'll get value out of them. Moving ahead, for the villain section, we used Sinister Six because, they're just fantastic as a villain team. They put in work in Dark Dimensions, they put in work in other Scourges and game modes. You can use them for the city section here. If you do that, they can make do, and you can do them for all 4 nodes. You're going to have them at level 70, gear tier 13. You're going to have their abilities built up a bit. But as you can see, we use Doc Ock, Mysterio, Lizard, Craven, and Vulture to get through this. And again, I like to build 2 different teams just this way. If something happens in one of those earlier nodes, I'm not out a villain character for one of the later nodes. A villain character for one of the later nodes. And then finally, you have your Cosmic Mystic characters. Now, this was a really weird mix for me. There was not a lot of great synergies in some places. So what I ended up doing, I ended up doing a hybrid of Bifrost with the Eternals. We did Teen Loki, Beta Ray Bill, and Vol with Icarus and Cersei. What I found here is there's lots of healing, there's lots of revive potential for the Bifrost characters. Icarus and Cersei buff off of themselves, giving each other bonuses to help sustain their longevity, remove debuffs, auto heal, things like that. This team worked really, really well. You got to play it smart. Again, ability levels weren't that high. Most of them are ability level 4 or 5. Beta Ray Bill has a stun on his special that I didn't even have. I kept trying to hit people in the node video, or while I was going through the nodes, and he didn't even have the special. So, you don't need it, but I'm going to tell you right now, that would be helpful. And again, all but Cersei, level 70, gear tier 13. Other things to notice while we're looking at this roster real quick. You'll notice very few of these are 7/7. Most of them are somewhere between 3 and 5 yellow with 3 to 5 red stars on them. The exceptions being things like Carnage, Doc Ock, Mysterio, characters that you're going to get pretty early in the game and that you should have no problem acquiring red stars for now with all the recent red star changes that have taken place in 2024. It's not that tough, guys. So that's the teams we use. That's the minimum required breakdown of what we're looking at now that we're through with that. Let's go look at the Scourges that we use to get through this event, because of course getting the points, it's not just the Toons, it's getting the points that you need to make the grade. So let's jump back over to the game real fast. You'll see we did it on difficulty 5, so not crazy. Now, you'll notice with these Scourges and things we have on, our expected run total is 495,760. If you do this without having to double tap any nodes, every time you clear a node, you get a small bonus in points. That's going to come out to about 6,000 bonus points, putting you at 502,808 was the score that I got with running it with these Scourges. So let's look at the Scourges and just kind of see what they do so you know what you're up against here. The first one is going to be Power Fatigue 1. Player character special abilities cost 1 more ability energy. The second is Weakened. Player character healing is reduced by 20%. Then we have Power Fatigue 2, where the player character ultimate abilities cost 1 more ability energy. We have, this one's a long one, guys, Going Rogue. When a positive effect is applied to enemies, we want that back on, increase the duration of all positive effects on that enemy by 1, up to a max of 3. When a negative effect is applied to a player character, increase the duration of all negative effects on that character by 1, up to a max of 3. And then finally, stay down on player character's turn, remove revive ones from that character. So, what's the best way to phrase this? You're going to set yourself up to slow roll some of these nodes, right? So you're not going to have your specials or your ults right away, but you're going to have time to set up the big plays, which is kind of nice. And with the characters you use, a lot of their cooldowns have low ability cooldowns. So even though you're starting with one extra thing that you have, one extra turn basically that you have to go, a lot of them will still get their ultimate and their special on their second turn, on turn 2. So that's the Scourges we used. Nothing too crazy. Again, we don't have Dormammu yet, so stay down doesn't really matter to us. It doesn't say you can't revive a character, it just removes the revive once effect. So we were able to make use of Vol to revive our Bifrost characters in a pinch. And Going Rogue is really the one that sucks. You got to make sure that you're trying to keep your abilities, your negative effects as cleared as possible. But again, between, Hive Mind and Extreme X-Men and Sinister Six, there's all these ways for them to remove these debuffs, right? Same thing with Eternals Bifrost. They can remove a lot of debuffs on themselves. So Going Rogue doesn't really hurt that bad when you're running these teams that can cleanse all the time. The hardest ones in this are undoubtedly the new Warrior, Secret Defender nodes. There's not as much utility there to cleanse debuffs. So you just gotta be a little careful on those nodes. But let's jump in real fast. Let's start talking node strategy and kind of how we got through it. Nodes 1 and 2 are pretty straightforward, especially if you're using Hive Mind with a city character. You kind of want to make sure you're focusing the right characters, though, to make your life easier. Don't let Cap Sam pop off on you. Don't let Magneto pop off on you. Other than that, you're fine. Moving to Node 2, still same thing, city characters. Again, this is our Hive Mind team. You want to lock down Gambit. You want to lock down Hela and Phantom X as quick as you can. Wong and Agatha and Dazzler are also kind of tough. But again, as long as you keep your Robbie Ghost Rider in good shape, if you drop one of the Hive Mind here, you're not going to need him again. So, you know, you can play a little willy-nilly on this one as long as you make sure your Robbie Reyes, if you're using him, makes it through. If not, just plug in another city character like Shang-Chi and just kind of power through it, right? Nodes 3 and 4, mutant nodes. Again, these are very, very doable with your teams. You just gotta know your priorities, right? Know that you don't want Ebony Maw lasting around too long. Same thing with the Hawk people. I call them Hawk people, but Hawkeye and Kate Bishop, girl Hawkeye. They can blind you, they can remove turn meter, they can mess up your team with debuffs. So taking out these 3 here is going to be a pretty big deal to making sure you flow through it effectively. But you'll notice once you kind of take the teeth out of this team, especially once you get Thanos out too, it falls pretty quick, especially to Extreme X-Men. And again, same thing with this node, node 4. There's really nothing to write home about here. Just make sure you bop out the Emma as quickly as you can so that they don't get to take extra turns and mess up your HP efficiency. And again, you'll be fine. Now, the 5th node here. This is where things start to get real gross because you have all these tunes you can use and you have some really weird mechanics going on in here. I found what worked best for me, making sure you take out both Baron Zemo and Taskmaster or locking them down so they can't hit you with their blinds because they have big AoE attacks, both special and ultimate, that can blind, they can add other debuffs. So making sure that you lock them down as well as Strange Heartless and Hela is going to be a huge deal. Once you kind of take down those 4, the back end of this will spawn, and then it's just about keeping your characters healthy, right? You're going to slow roll a lot of this with the Secret Defender, New Avenger, New Warrior combo, especially so that Squirrel Girl can keep boosting up your team. You want Squirrel Girl on this node before you're done to make sure everyone's as close to full health as humanly possible. So this is one of those nodes. Take out the heavy hitters first. Take out the weapons on these tunes so that you can slow roll your way through the weaker ones, making sure your health and abilities are refreshed for the final node. Once you get through that, villains is a walk in the park, right? Same mentality. This first node, really the only things to be careful about here. I say Shang-Chi, but he wasn't really that bad. You really got to watch out for Nick Fury and then Icarus. If Icarus comes in and you're stuck behind Cap's taunt and he gets to pop off on you, that could be bad, especially if one of your villains is low health. But again, you're running Sinister 6, Superior 6 combo, so you should have Doc Ock healing people. You should have death proofs and all that stuff, so don't sweat that too much. Same thing with the second villain node. You're kind of in the same boat. I always find taking out these Spider Women and Iceman early help so that they're not manipulating your turn meter and giving you a ton of debuffs. And then you can kind of piecemeal your way through. I like taking out Magic before Phoenix if you can. But again, Sinister 6, tons of healing, tons of stat boosts, tons of team support. You're not really working too hard to get through these villain nodes. The Cosmic nodes, on the other hand, are where things get kind of gross because especially this first one, you've got 2 healers, you've got Squirrel Girl, and you've got Scarlet Witch. You've got Moon Knight who drops a ton of debuffs. And if you kill somebody before killing him, this Ghost Rider could pop off and do some extra damage. Vulture's got the turn meter reduction, so this is one you're going to have to kind of play smart, making sure that you're locking down the Vultures and the Ghost Rider before you kill people. Also trying to make sure you lock down both the Moon Knight, Squirrel Girl, and Scarlet Witch. This one was a juggle, and what I found worked best here, kind of working everyone low and then trying to get Icarus and Cersei's ults to clean up a lot of people, especially the Ghost Rider, all at once. That way you're not, especially if you pop and Ghost Rider stays alive, say you kill 4 people, that could be the end of your Icarus because he's going to counterattack 4 times. So making sure that, everyone's pretty low, especially the Ghost Rider when you pop that ultimate is going to be huge. But again, use your order of operations, right? You want to lock down your healers, you want to lock down your turn meter manipulators, and you want to lock down your people that are going to debuff the hell out of you because, again, we've got that going rogue on, and we don't want those debuffs to extend. Last Cosmic node. Not as hard. This is one of those where, again, you take out the Iceman and the Shuri, and then you'll take out the Nick Fury and the Kestrel, and you're pretty much home free. You want to lock them down to those same characters, especially Kestrel, Nick Fury, if they start popping off. Maria Hill poses kind of a problem, but again, manageable, especially because you're running Icarus and Cersei, so her bringing in those minions for you to blow up with Icarus's ult is not that bad. You just want to make sure that you're, not leaving her there constantly spawning minions, because they're going to have counterattacks, and then all those minions can really whittle you down. So, again, team priority, take out your healers, your turn meter manipulators, and your powerhouses. Try to lock everything down if you can. And this is the node I really wish I had the stun. Actually, both of these were this. I really wish I would have had the stun upgrade, which I believe is level 5 or 6 for Beta Ray Bill's abilities. So make sure that if you can afford that one, his special for the stun is actually pretty clutch getting you through these nodes. I didn't need it, but I wish I had it. It would have made my life a lot easier when I ran this. Finally, last hodgepodge node of all these different requirements. This one was really tough, and I can't stress this enough how much you have to slow roll this, because if you get too far in front of yourself, you've got this Mighty Thor with all these buffs from Valkyrie. Sif's going to be taunting. You're going to have a whole bunch of Mysterio clones, and then all of a sudden Icarus is going to drop in, and you're going to have a bad time. So what you kind of want to do here, you want to try to focus out the one corner first. It's going to start with these 3 on the right and these guys all on the left. You want to lock down the right side, making sure that Icarus's ability blocked, getting your way around the taunts, and you want to try to take out Valkyrie first. If you can't take out Valkyrie first, try to take out Mighty Thor and Sif at the same time, so that Valkyrie's the only Asgardian getting those buffs off of her passive. And then, lastly, and this is the sleeper. Don't worry about Black Bolt. Worry about X-23. Her ultimate can come in and deal unavoidable damage to the lowest health member on your team and really seriously wreck your day. This node was where Photon really came in handy. She was able to put out a lot of blinds, and synergizing with Secret Defenders. Robbie Reyes popping off with all the bleeds and things really, really helped here. So this is where I used that Photon and Death Pool to really help me get through this node. But that is that for the unlock. And if there's anything I took away from this, it's that this isn't hard because the nodes are hard, like strategy-wise. It's hard because of the characters you have to use. So, again, going back to the roster real quick, just to kind of look at the teams we used. Well, let's break it down. The Hive Mind can cleanse off themselves, especially using Red Goblin. You're going to be your most current bio raid team for the next year. So making sure that you're working them somewhere into your bio synergy is going to be really helpful. They're also one of the teams you can use on nodes 5 and 10 for Morgan Le Fay. So building them up is super helpful for the MLF Scourge as well. So Hive Mind, you don't have to use them for this. Again, you could use your Sinister 6 for the first 2 nodes because they're all city. But I just found I already had some of these tunes, and I wanted to make sure that I was keeping myself with the longevity. Same thing with Extreme X-Men. You'll notice, very minimal investment. Very minimal investment. It's mostly just abilities and levels. Same thing with these guys down here. It was a little bit of a struggle on nodes 5 and 10. You're going to have to play those really smart, but honestly, the rest of them are pretty straightforward. You should not have too much trouble outside of nodes 5 and 10 using these teams. Again, the Mystic Cosmic stuff is tough. The better these characters are, the happier you'll be. You'll cruise through it a lot easier, but this is what I was able to achieve the minimum clear with. So, yeah, everybody, I hope that this has been helpful for you. I'll leave these teams up at the end of the video here so you can kind of peruse these again real quick if you need to. Things to note. So we're not going to be hitting these guides again. This is the last 3-star Horseman guide to make for low-star unlocks. Starting next week, we're going to be pushing for Nova, Black Cat, and Green Goblin Classic. And as soon as we get those 3-star unlock videos, half my roster is going to the moon because we're not going to post another video until we hit a 7-star unlock for these characters. And if anything changes team-wise, strategy-wise, of course, we'll be noting that in that video. But the whole point of this is these are teams that you can use for the whole next year going forward in 2024 into 2025 that are going to keep their value in multiple game modes that are really good right now and make this event a lot easier. So, that said, friends, that brings us to the end of our video. If you had fun, or you learned something, or neither, and you just liked hearing the sound of my voice, please make sure you leave a like. It helps the channel, helps us get noticed. We are trying to monetize, not because I want to make money, but because YouTube already makes money off my channel, so they should give us a little bit of it, right? So we could do things to improve the channel. So make sure you like and subscribe. If you haven't done so already, make sure you follow us over on Twitch as well. We stream Tuesday through Friday 8 a.m.-ish to about 11 a.m. And we do things from Cosmic Crucible, War, all the different daily activities. Sometimes we do Let's Plays on Fridays when I have a little extra spare time before work. So if you like silly Let's Play videos and having fun that way, we do a little bit of that too. So come check us out. But as always, friends, long days, pleasant nights, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.